Hey, today I'm going to be starting something new. It's going to be a black belt vlog, and this is episode one. So today what I'd like to talk about is the white belt test. So tomorrow I'm going to have a student have his first test in my system. He's going to be testing for yellow stripe, which is our second belt, which is ninth gup or ninth kyu for those who do karate. I'm really excited about this because it's going to be his first martial art test ever. Typically, what I'm going to test for a white belt will be his basic stances, and also our first form, which is called Sun Tzu, which is a very basic form. It means innocence in Korean. Along with that, you're going to have some basic terminology and finish the test off with some sparring. Typically, what I look for in a white belt is that they can do their forms and stances without hesitation. The accuracy of the stances and the balance and the correct weight distribution, all that comes later. But a white belt for our system is typically they'll be able to test within a month to 3 months. This particular student started with us in October of last year, trained with us for about a month, then took off till probably about February of this year, and has been training pretty consistently, and now we'll be testing at the end of April. So let me know in the comments if you're an instructor what your white belt test looks like, what you look for, and if you're not an instructor, what your first martial art test was like. How'd you feel? Were you nervous? And what significant feedback did your instructor give you at the end of your test? Thanks. So my first martial arts test was in February of 2015. I was testing for yellow belt at that time because our American Taekwondo system, their ranking system was somewhat like the Japanese system. So it would be white to yellow belt, which now it's white to yellow stripe, which is a half yellow, half white belt. It was about a month into my training, if I remember correctly. I did my instructor's version of Chonji, which was very different than the ITF's traditional Chonji. I didn't spar. I had to do one steps, and I had to go over my blocks and stances. It was a pretty basic test. Probably lasted about 15 minutes, and then I was awarded my yellow belt. So if I remember correctly, it was probably the most. It was my first martial arts test ever, so to me it was a pretty awesome experience. I remember getting my yellow belt and also my certificate, which was really cool because back then it was just had this dragon as the watermark, had my name on it, my instructor's signature, and I really looked up to my instructor at that point. It was probably one of the coolest guys I knew at the moment, and that was a really awesome experience for me because it was the first step I took towards getting my black belt. And I saved all my certificates and I have it in the binder, and that's one of the coolest certificates I've had. But yeah. So also another thing I'd like to talk about is the branding of my system of teaching Taekwondo. Typically working on the logo, have different ideas. Something that I'm toying in between right now is whether I want to call my system, like as in my last name, system of teaching Taekwondo. Before I started teaching, I didn't really think that was that that great of an idea to put my name attached to the system, but a lot of Kempo lineages do it, and my thoughts of it got kind of mixed in regards to thinking of, do I want to attach my name to my system of teaching, because I'm not creating anything new per se. This system of teaching already exists. It's just through the different styles and different instructors that I interact with. If I see a system of teaching of a certain technique or something that I think is the most effective, I'll incorporate it in some way. So it would just be my system of teaching these techniques. Other than that, as far as what I would like in my logo and what it means, I'd like to have some type of symbolic animal attached to it. Maybe not so much like a dragon or anything like that. Those are pretty cliche. Dragon, tiger, stuff like that. It's all around local martial arts school. I'm looking to kind of think outside of that. and I don't know exactly where I want to go with it yet, so I'm kind of just brainstorming ideas as to what I'd like to do for my logo. I'd like to basically professionalize things, make things look very professional, have a logo, have an official letterhead to introduce those students who enter the system and formally are part of it. Um, it would be kind of like an organization that I'd like to do, but it wouldn't be open for just like anyone per se. They would have to be training in the system. And something new that I'm starting is just people that come from previous experience or in Taekwondo specifically, how I can create a channel to get their rank equivalents in my system of teaching, and that's something I'm figuring out right now as I teach two students currently with previous Taekwondo experience. Um, One student is very, very good and comes from a very strong background. She did have a black belt in Taekwondo. Another one of my students, it's came from a different type of Taekwondo, is not a black belt, is got somewhere in the intermediate rank. So is perfectly fine coming in as a white belt and learning our system, which to me, from what I see, his style is almost completely different. So it's almost as if he's learning a new style. There, I don't see many parallels as I do with my other student who could come right in and learn a lot of our stuff and be like right in the mix as far as in forms, very advanced, but coming from a school that spars with a different rule set and different style than us, that'll be her challenge, and that'll be my job as an instructor to make sure she comes up to date with that. But other than that, those of you who watch this and have started their own school or are very close to their instructors and know how they started their own school, let me know what ideas and what you think would have to improve my way of branding and my way of professionalizing what I do. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and a subscription. Have a great day.